Mother Nature held off for most of this Labor Day, but now there's rumbling out there. This is what happened when trouble passed through the Jamestown area not too long ago. Certainly not what anyone, especially farmers, want to see. Let's take a look now at one of our live sky cams, this one in South Fargo, looking a little ominous out there. Very dark if you look out the windows here at KVLY. Nathan is here now with your no-wait weather planner out there. And Nathan, this is a storm that's moving rather quickly.
It's moving very quickly, about 40 to 50 miles per hour, and not slowing down for really anything. And as that shot, that sky cam we just showed, you can see the shelf cloud defined very well there on the front of your screen, and that is the leading edge of this line of storms, and we can see that approaching Fargo-Moorhead. I do expect it, if it keeps up its current speed, to be in Fargo around 6:20 or so. So about 15 or 20 minutes until the actual impactful weather arrives here in the FM area, heading on toward Ada then at 6:35 and Lake Ida at 6:45. That's if it keeps up its current speed, which it appears to be doing. Look at this, lots of lightning with this also. So although it may be windy and rainy, lightning is another threat, and that lightning can strike anywhere along this line. So definitely take this storm very seriously, as we've got warnings for areas like Ellendale, heading toward Gwinner, Lisbon, Windmere. We're seeing Lidgerwood also is in that warning, heading toward Castleton and Fargo. So definitely a situation to take seriously, as we have seen lots of reports of upwards of 85-mile-per-hour wind gusts and vehicles blown over in Jamestown, as well as lots of other wind gusts around 50 miles per hour or so. So, of course, we'll talk more about the radar and dive deeper into it, Mike, and talk about when we can expect this to leave coming up here in just a couple minutes.
All right, soon, I hope.
Soon.
All right, thanks. The search continues tonight for a man who's been described by law enforcement as mentally unstable. A community alert went out in the Jamestown area. Authorities tell us that the man is on foot and was last seen wearing a tie-dye shirt, jeans, and a black jacket with a floral pattern. At one point, deputies were searching the Cleveland and Windsor areas. Another update had bloodhounds tracking him to the interstate. We're told that drones were out until the nasty weather blew through. It's not known if the man is armed, so if you do come in contact with him, you should not approach him. Instead, call law enforcement. Another search continues in the Bemidji area, where police there are looking for a missing teenager. 15-year-old Sakila Curie was last seen in the 500 block of 6th Street Northwest Thursday afternoon. Police don't believe her disappearance is suspicious and say she might be in the area of Pony Lake Road Northwest. If you see her or know anything about where she might be, give Bemidji police a call. It's still unknown what led to that large fire at a Hillsboro garage late Sunday night. Fire crews were called to the 200 block of Caledonia Avenue around 10. The fire eventually spread to 2 sheds and a car as well.
It just went bang, and it was really loud. You know, people across over there heard it, and it was just crazy. I thought somebody was getting shot at or something.
They were really concerned because there's right behind that fence there's a propane tank, and so we were afraid that if it got on the propane tank that the whole area would be on fire.
There were no injuries, and the fire was put out before spreading to the home nearby or any other buildings. The Labor Day weekend is known as one of the deadliest times to be on the road due to impaired driving. When people think about that, they usually think about alcohol or illegal drugs. But AAA says prescription and over-the-counter drugs can be just as dangerous. That's why it started Roadwise RX. The website lets users enter their medications and tells them how the drugs can affect their driving. Well, if you were one of the Americans on the road traveling this holiday weekend, you were among a quarter of all Americans who did so, 86% hitting the road and traveling by car. I'm sure that most noticed the decline in gas prices, which were 7.5% lower than a year ago. 7% of Labor Day travelers chose to fly. For those 7% who did take to the friendly skies, there might have been some trouble making it back home. More than 600 flights were canceled today because of Hurricane Dorian. That's according to flight tracker FlightAware. Florida airports made up the bulk of the cancellations. Some airlines have been allowing travelers who wanted to get out of the storm's path to change their flights without penalty. To see if your flight or a loved one's flight is still on time, experts say to check out the latest flight information online, and that's where you can get the latest flight information quickly with real-time updates.
It scares me because I've had my phone hacked in before.
A warning tonight about a new way for hackers to get your personal information. It involves the cables or the cords that you rely on to keep your phone charged. Valley News Team's Melanie Palmer investigates what you can do to protect your private information while on the go.
I would never do something like that. I would never take the chance.
Peter Parr is no stranger to identity theft. He is just one of the millions of people who has fallen victim to it. And that's why he is very cautious and wary about what he does with his personal information.
My phone was hacked through software.
And that's also why you will not find him using someone else's charging cable.
Hardware can be installed into charge cords and thereby access someone's phone.
Parr isn't far from wrong with his knowledge on the matter.
In fact, some cybersecurity experts are urging you to protect your charging cable like you would your password.
They say cyber hackers have figured out how to implant malware into charging cables. Then these hackers hijack your phone or other devices, like computers. And those same tech experts say they're mostly seeing this in bustling places where you rely on your phone, like airports. Those are also the same places that often have USB charging stations.
I would get it if I were plugged into a network cable.
Jared Ellis tells us he's a frequent traveler of the skies. He's from Ohio, but is making a brief stop in Fargo. And right now, he's using his own charging cables to stay powered up for his travels. But that's not always the case. He tells us he uses what he can to keep his phone ready to go.
I still am going to need my phone charged.
And as for Peter Parr, he's already learned his lesson the hard way through a different mode of hacking, and now he wants to share his insight with you.
I would suggest no one use a public charge cord. It's just not worth it.
On top of that, he says charging cords run pretty cheap now, and that's why he, along with some tech experts, are urging you to always use your own. In Fargo, Melanie Palmer, Valley News Live.
Other places where you might need to borrow a charging cord is hotels. Cybersecurity experts also warn some hotels have a drawer of charging cables that were left behind by guests. They say never use them. With tomorrow being the first day of a new school year, Moorhead police officers will be actively enforcing school speed zones and helping to ensure that the crossing guards are complied with. We're told that they will be enforcing distracted driving laws and seatbelt violations. Police have a deal for someone out there who will be heading back to school in East Grand Forks. They say they'll be selecting one special student to get a ride to school in a police squad car. In order to nominate a child, you're supposed to send a private message to them, the child's information, including which school and time they must be there, your information, and why the student would like a ride in a police car. Children must be 5 to 18 years old, live in East Grand Forks, and must attend East Grand Forks schools. Later on Valley News Live at 6, video evidence that might make you make sure that you slow down in a school zone.